It was supposed to be a calm hearing, just a quiet day in court to finalize paperwork between two people who were once in love. But instead, it turned into something no one expected. The moment Aaron stood up in the middle of the courtroom, everything stopped. He didn't raise his voice, but his words hit harder than any scream. "I'm not raising someone else's child," he said. Then he picked up his coat, turned, and walked right out of the courtroom. People gasped. Even the judge looked stunned. Tayana sat frozen. Her hands trembled in her lap. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. It was like the air had been sucked out of the room. The silence was deafening. Her attorney leaned over, trying to get her attention, but she didn't move. That one sentence from Aaron had shattered her in front of everyone. Just a few months earlier, things were different. Tayana had been glowing during her pregnancy, posting soft pictures of baby clothes, ultrasound images, and peaceful moments at home. She didn't show Aaron much on social media, but behind closed doors, she believed they were building something together. He had been there, rubbing her back during morning sickness, showing up at prenatal visits, even assembling the crib. She thought that meant something. But the cracks started showing right after the baby was born. Aaron became distant. He wasn't cruel, just cold. He started missing appointments. He stopped asking how the baby was doing. And when Tayana invited him to the baby's dedication ceremony, he said he had a conflict and couldn't make it. Something in her stomach sank that day, but she tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. What she didn't know was that Aaron had already started pulling away emotionally, and now legally. When her legal team filed for formal parenting agreements and support, Aaron didn't respond for weeks. When he finally did, he didn't just object, he submitted paperwork demanding a DNA test. It blindsided her. She felt humiliated. After everything they had shared, how could he question her like this? She showed up to court with tears in her eyes, but steel in her spine. She told her team she was ready, but no one could have prepared her for what came next. Aaron hadn't even looked at her during the entire hearing. He sat stone-faced, whispering only to his attorney. Then came the moment where her lawyer calmly explained that she had every right to establish parenting plans based on Aaron's involvement over the past year. That's when Aaron stood up. He didn't make a scene. He didn't yell. But his words were like a knife. "I'm not raising someone else's child." And then he walked out. Whispers spread through the courtroom immediately. Even the stenographer paused typing. The judge called for a recess, and the room emptied quickly. But Tayana stayed in her seat, staring straight ahead, tears slipping quietly down her face. She whispered something to herself, barely audible. He picked the name. Outside the courthouse, the world was already reacting. A fan who had been sitting in the gallery tweeted the moment live, and within minutes, #AaronPierre started trending. Blogs jumped on the story. TMZ reported within the hour. People couldn't believe what they were reading. Support for Tayana flooded in. Celebrities tweeted their shock. Fans reposted clips of her interviews, her music, her moments of strength. Meanwhile, Aaron disappeared. He didn't say a word. No tweets, no posts, no explanation. But the silence didn't last long. Anonymous tips started rolling into gossip pages. A former friend of Aaron's posted a screenshot of an old message where Aaron said, "She keeps calling me baby daddy. She better pray I don't demand a test." The timestamp? 2 weeks before the baby was born. That same source said Aaron had been venting to friends for months, claiming he didn't feel connected to the child. That he had suspicions. That he felt pressured by the public image of being a good man. But Tayana had receipts. Voice notes. Texts. Pictures. One photo in particular started going viral. It showed Aaron cradling the baby, cheek pressed against her forehead. The caption, written by Tayana, read, "You are made for this. She already adores you." That post alone had over 1 million likes before Aaron deactivated his Instagram. And then came the interview. Tayana didn't say much at first. Just sat down with a quiet smile and watery eyes. But as the questions came, so did the truth. She said, "I never asked him to be perfect. I just asked him to show up." She explained that Aaron had insisted on being part of the pregnancy, that he picked the baby name, that he even asked about nursery themes. She said, "So when he said those words in court, I wasn't just hurt. I was confused. Like, who is that man?" The interviewer asked her the hardest question. "What if the DNA test shows he's not the father?" She paused, swallowed, then answered, "Then I will still love my daughter the same way." She didn't ask for any of this. That moment hit millions of viewers in the gut. People called her brave, strong, graceful. But underneath it all, she was heartbroken. And fans could see it. Meanwhile, Aaron finally broke his silence with a tweet. "I said what I said. You don't build a house on uncertain ground." The backlash was instant. People accused him of cowardice, of emotional abuse, of using legal tools to humiliate someone who had trusted him. He deleted the tweet within an hour. But the screenshots lived on. By now, this wasn't just a court case. It wasn't just drama. It wasn't even about DNA anymore. It had become something bigger, a cultural moment, a reckoning. A raw, public reminder of what happens when women, especially Black women, are pushed to the edge and still rise. It was about betrayal, yes. But it was also about fatherhood, truth, reputation, and the silent expectation that women should carry humiliation with grace. And in the middle of it all, Tayana, not asking for sympathy, not performing pain, but simply existing through the storm with a kind of strength that couldn't be staged. She didn't choose to become a symbol. She was thrown into it. For weeks, everyone was talking, Twitter threads, think pieces, reaction videos, even TikTok drama breakdowns. People picked sides. Some defended Aaron. He didn't know for sure. He had to protect himself. Others weren't buying it. He ghosted her. Humiliated her. You don't do that to someone you once claimed to love. Tayana? She said nothing. No press conferences. No messy interviews. Just silence. Until the truth showed up. Weeks later, the DNA results came in. A 99.999% match. No doubt. No questions. No ambiguity. It was Aaron's child. Period. And how did Tayana react? Not with a lawsuit. Not with screaming, "I told you so." Not with an Instagram live meltdown. She posted one photo. Just one. A tiny baby hand wrapped around her finger. The caption? "Truth always finds its way." And that was it. No drama. No shade. Just power. Quiet, intentional power. Meanwhile, Aaron went quiet again. But this time no one was waiting for his return. Brand deals started fading. That TV project he was in talks for suddenly got postponed. Music execs stopped answering his calls. The image he worked so hard to build, polished, progressive, supportive, cracked under the weight of what people now saw. A man who vanished when it mattered most. It wasn't just that he doubted her. It was how he doubted her. Publicly. Loudly. And then tried to disappear as if accountability wasn't required. But the internet didn't forget. While Aaron's image crumbled, Tayana rose. She didn't just survive the scandal. She flipped the entire narrative. She focused on her music, her healing, her baby. And then she launched a podcast. Not a revenge series. Not a tell-all. But a space for mothers raising children alone. Real conversations. Raw stories. Resilience in every episode. The very first episode was titled, "When They Walk Out, We Stand Taller." The message was clear. This wasn't about bitterness. It was about building something out of the ruins. About women who get left behind and still build empires. Fans flooded her DMs. One comment read, "You turned pain into purpose." Another said, "You healed a part of me I didn't know was broken." She never needed to scream. Her silence had weight. Her actions had volume. And now, her voice was helping others find theirs. Months passed. Aaron tried to slip back in. He posted a short statement on his website. "I apologize for the pain caused. I'm committed to moving forward privately." No one cared. The moment for redemption had passed. This wasn't a PR issue anymore. This was a credibility collapse. And the world had already moved on. Without him. Meanwhile, Tayana? She was glowing. Not the kind of glow that comes from revenge or clapbacks. but the glow of a woman who reclaimed her peace, her power, her narrative. In a follow-up interview, she said something that stuck with millions. Sometimes, the people you think will fight for you end up being the ones who teach you how to fight for yourself. That line hit different, because everyone's been there. Loving someone who doesn't show up, expecting loyalty and getting silence, expecting protection and getting absence, and still rising anyway. Suddenly, Tayana wasn't just a name in a messy headline, she was a movement. A reminder that truth always rises, that silence isn't surrender, and that walking out doesn't always make you free. Sometimes, it just makes you unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. As for Tayana, she never needed validation from a courtroom, a man, or even a DNA test. She knew who she was. She knew what she gave. And more than anything, she knew who she was fighting for. Her daughter. Her peace. And the version of herself that would never again shrink to keep someone else comfortable. Because this wasn't just a survival story. This was a rebirth. And from this moment forward, Tayana wasn't just healing. She was thriving and glowing like only the unbreakable can.